Hypno's Lullaby background. Pokemon. As a nerdy sort of kid who grew up in the late 90s, it was one of the staples of my childhood. A game that I could always get together with my friends and play. We always had a lot of fun with it. Trading, battling, even sharing tips with one another on how to get the most out of the experience. Yet, as we grew older, and the newer generations of the game came out, my friends started to lose interest. Most of them complained about the new game's lacking originality when it came to the designs of the Pokemon, but I never shared their thoughts. After all, every gen has its own share of lame designs. Regardless, I soon was the only one of the people in my nerdy little group of buddies that still played the game. Well, you don't really want to hear about all that, do you? I have a story to tell, and I'm pretty sure you're all much more interested in that than what I did when I was a kid. It all started about a month before the release of X and Y. I was playing my copy of Black, like I usually do on lazy Saturday afternoons. With my copy of X already pre-ordered, I was pretty excited about the entire thing. I had been playing nothing but 5th gen for a while, and craved something new, something different. As I sat there, EXP farming the entire Elite Four, like I often did to raise my lower leveled Pokemon, I vaguely wondered if I had any other versions lying around in my room. After a while, I shut off my DS and decided to look around. Nothing turned up, though I remember having copies of Diamond and Heart Gold somewhere. I couldn't find them. Being a slobber really did have its disadvantages sometimes. It didn't help that the cartridges were so tiny either. Since I had a little extra money from work, I decided to head over to my local game store and see if they had any replacements. Though finding Pearl, Platinum, or Soul Silver would be just as good. They usually had a bunch of used games in a case near the front, so it hopefully wouldn't be too much of a problem. When I got there, I wasn't disappointed. They had both Diamond and Soul Silver, slightly used, but supposedly still in good shape. I paid for them without any problems and left the store. Once I got home, I headed up to my room and popped Soul Silver in. Nothing seemed out of the ordinary, thankfully. I'd gotten used copies of games before that wouldn't start or had sound glitches and that sort of thing. Upon loading it, I saw that there was a file already saved, and out of curiosity, I opened it to see what the other person had done and what kind of Pokemon they had. Sometimes you could find real gems in there. Once I found an Arceus in someone's save file, and used my friend's DS to trade it over to my old copy of Black. Unfortunately though, it seemed like the file was corrupted. This honestly worried me. What if there was something wrong with the game's internal battery? I figured I'd test it after playing it for a little while, and return the game if I needed to. With that, I pressed in that needlessly complicated code to wipe out the other person's file, and start a new game. Everything seemed alright. The opening cinematic played as it normally did, and I started my adventure, choosing Cyndaquil as my starter. The save feature seemed to work too. I played the game for about a week and a half, getting all the badges in Johto, and defeating the Elite Four without much of a problem. Once it led me over to Kanto, I easily beat the first gym. Though, on my way to the second, I found something kind of weird. It was a cave that I don't remember being there before, right on the edge of Route 3. I opened my map, and strangely enough, the area didn't show up. Perhaps this game was hacked? That seemed like the only logical explanation. It could also explain the corrupt save data too, if the arrow wasn't well programmed. I went to explore it though. After all, it could have had something cool inside. My hopes was that everything would be alright as long as it didn't save in the cave. With that thought in mind, I walked in. The first thing that struck me was the music. Or rather, the absolute lack of music. As I entered, it was completely silent. There was something almost foreboding about it. I figured since the cave was hacked in, though, the programmer had just forgotten to add in the sound. That, or it had just glitched out. Yeah, that had to be it. Yet, I couldn't shake off this odd, nervous feeling. I pressed on, though. I wanted to know what was in here. As my character walked, her footsteps echoed loudly on the stone floor. The noise only emphasized the silence. I swallowed roughly, my hand shaking a little. I knew it was probably just a hacking error, so why did I feel so freaked out? For quite a bit of time, there was nothing but a straight path. I was starting to think that this was some sort of prank that some hacker had put in here to waste someone's time. The thought calmed me down considerably, enough that I actually started to get a little bored as I kept walking. After a few minutes, I decided to turn around, though before I could, I spotted a little patch of light and a few tiles ahead. A door. Instead of feeling excitement though, the nervousness from earlier once again began to rise up in my chest. Yet after all the time I'd spent getting to this point, I couldn't just leave this area unexplored. I walked in. I was greeted by the sight of a large, square room, the kind that usually contained a legendary. At this, my nervousness subsided a little, replaced by quite a bit of excitement. Had the hacker programmed in one of the Pokemon you couldn't normally get in the game? Mew? Maybe Celebi? Or something else? They could have made up their own legendary too. Either way, it had to be something good. Hopefully. As I stepped further in, there was a small set of stairs leading up to a platform. On it sat Hypno? I couldn't believe my eyes at first. Had a hacker really spent all this time making this area just to give someone a Hypno? The idea was ridiculous. Maybe it was shiny or something. I had really started to give up hope on this whole thing. I had just wasted a good 10 minutes or so of my life going through a cave and didn't even find anything cool. Huffing a little, I approached the Hypno and pressed the A button. Might as well catch it since I came all this way. Strangely enough, it didn't bring up the battle screen. For a few seconds there was nothing. I was really starting to get annoyed now. Stupid hacker. When I tried to walk away though, it wouldn't let me. The little character sprite didn't seem to respond to the controls. Great. This cave wasted my time and it froze my game. I went to soft restart my DS, but paused as the colors on the screen began to flicker. Curious, I watched. A soft glow pulsed back and forth on the screen, with the Hypno sprite in the center, almost as if the Pokemon was causing it. I couldn't look away. As I watched, everything around me started to feel fuzzy. Come, little children, come with me. Safe and happy you will be. Away from home now let us run. With Hypno you'll have so much fun. The voice was soft, inviting. It didn't seem to be coming from my speakers. Was it coming from my head? Oh, little children, please don't cry. Hypno wouldn't hurt a fly. Be free to frolic, be free to play. Come with me to my cave to stay. I knew I should look away, that there was something wrong with the game that was causing this. Yet I couldn't. The glowing light from the screen made me feel warm and safe. The voice danced through my head, and lulling me with every word. Oh, little children, please don't squirm. These ropes, I know, will hold you firm. Now look to me, the pendant calls. Back and forth your eyelids fall. That was when I started to feel sleepy. I fell back against the bed, though my eyes never left the screen. My body was heavy, almost like it was sinking into the mattress. Oh, little children, you cannot leave. For you, your families will grieve. Minds unravel at the seams, allowing me to haunt their dreams. Dreams. Yes. My eyelids fluttered a little before finally slipping closed. So sleepy. As I laid there, though I had looked away, the voice never left my head. I felt limp, helpless, but never had I been so calm. I never wanted this feeling to end. Do not wail and do not weep. It's time for you to go to sleep. Little children, you were not clever. Now you'll stay with me forever. That was the last thing I remembered. That is until I woke up in a hospital bed a few days later. My neck was bound by a gauze, and I later learned that my parents had found me on the bathroom, blood pooled under me, and a steak knife in my hand. I had tried to slit my own throat. The news hit me like a ton of bricks. How could a game even do this? I knew that I had to destroy it the second I got home. I probably never would play Pokemon again either. Not after that experience. I was to be transferred to a mental health ward first, once my wound scabbed over. It had been an attempt of suicide after all. Maybe I needed it. Maybe it wasn't just the game. After a few days, they allowed me to see my cell phone before I was moved. There wasn't much. Only a text from one of my best friends. When I read it though, my heart felt like it was caught in my throat. Hey, thanks for the Pokemon game. I hadn't been able to find this version anywhere. Your save was corrupted though. Is it safe to save? Anyway, figured I'd play. And it is about this weird cave by Pewter City. And that, my little pups, was Hypno's Lullaby background. My final thoughts on the story? 50-50. It's not good, but it's not bad either. Like, the ending is the only thing that I have a problem with. Oh, I almost committed suicide, I woke up in a hospital, and that old cliche. Look, I get it. It was similar to the Lavender Town suicides and whatnot, but that's practically a meme at this point, and the writer should not have gone there, in all honesty. But regardless, I did like the entire background of Hypno's Lullaby, thinking, oh, it was in the game, but as for the ending, if I were to write this PokePasta and maybe write it myself, I would say, I woke up in the hospital, my parents said I was in a coma for whatever reason. That's kind of what I would put it as. But just that one part with the ending. And now the text message, I actually like. In a way. And the background for Hypno's Lullaby, I like, which I'll leave both stories in the description below, as well as the song, if you want to check it out. It is very creepy, I do not like it. But as for the story itself, it's good, I like it. But the ending with the suicide attempt, just why? Why in the world did you add that? You could have just said, I woke up from a supposed coma after a few days later. But regardless, it's still a pretty good story. So my rating for this is a 7.5 out of 10. It's relatively good, but with that ending with the suicide attempt, it's not all that great. Now the story itself is perfect, it's just that one part with the suicide. Why? I ask you! Why? But I hope your pups like this PokePasta, and I will see you next time. Stay awesome, stay strong, and stay beautiful. Oh, and if you come across a Hypno, don't fall asleep. You might not wake up. Sweet dreams, little pups.